Are Ahmadis going to hell? Some non-Ahmadis say that Ahmadis are going to hell. However, if these non-Ahmadis read Muslim 26:21, they should be more careful on who they say is going to hell. So, non-Ahmadis, please don't rashly say that Ahmadis are going to hell. Who is more ignorant? Many non-Ahmadis say that Ahmadis are ignorant. However, it is the non-Ahmadis that make claims without doing proper research and instead spread lies through deceptive tactics in debates. Tafsir al-Tabari supports Ahmadis. Many non-Ahmadis say that Ahmadis mistranslate the Quran. However, they accept tafsirs like Tafsir al-Tabari, which agree with the Ahmadi viewpoints. Is Ahmadiyyat the fastest growing sect in Islam? Ahmadiyas claim that Ahmadiyyat is the fastest growing sect, and they are true to their word. Islam had around 3 million converts, which is a ratio of believers to converts 1/2,666. Meanwhile, Ahmadiyyat had around 250,000 converts, making the ratio of believers to converts 1/80th. Do Ahmadis have a different Quran? Some non-Ahmadis say that Ahmadis have a different Quran. However, all that is different is the interpretation of the meaning of the verses of the Quran. The Arabic is the same. Different interpretations do not mean different Arabic or different Quran. Is the Ahmadiyya growth argument valid? One of the proofs of Ahmadiyyat is the fact it is the fastest growing sect of Islam, thus showing that Allah is helping Ahmadiyyat. In an attempt to invalidate this argument, non-Ahmadis say that atheism is one of the fastest growing belief systems, so does that mean that Allah is helping atheists? The first problem with this argument is that the growth of Ahmadiyyat was prophesized. Allah does not fulfill the prophecies of false prophets. As for atheism, there was no prophecy, nor is atheism actually growing. Many studies actually show that atheism is actually in decline rather than growing. Smile and laugh all you want, non-Ahmadis. It won't change the fact Islam Ahmadiyyat is rapidly growing and people are realizing the truth of Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him. It also won't help your lying, which use Christian-like tactics to try and trick people away from the truth. Who is part of the deception? Many non-Ahmadis say that finding deception in the Ahmadiyya argument is obvious and easy. However, they seem to fail at finding the obvious deceptions of anti-Ahmadis who lie like Christians. So are they really finding obvious deception, or are they part of the deception? Why are these Muslim countries going against the Quran? There are some Muslim countries like Pakistan and Malaysia that go against the Quran by persecuting Ahmadis, which is completely against the Quran, which teaches Muslims religious tolerance. Who follows Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. More, Ahmadi Muslims who promote peace and justice according to the Quran, or the anti-Ahmadis spreading hate and injustice while contradicting themselves and the Quran. The cycle of pro-discrimination anti-Ahmadis. First, they say that discrimination against Ahmadis is okay. Then they make terrible arguments to justify the discrimination. After that fails, they try to run away by saying that they are not a scholar and it is not up to them to decide. Are Ahmadis funded by an outside force? In short, no. Ahmadis are only funded by themselves and no outside force. Any claims of British or Israeli involvement are false, as there is no evidence to back it up, and instead the evidence supports Ahmadis.
I'm a historian. Okay, so I am not one of those people. I have studied very carefully. Okay, these are the reasons why we reject Mirza.
So, which books of his have you read cover to cover? Have you read any cover to cover?
I will never read them.
Okay.
I will never read them. Okay. I have studied very carefully. I will never read them.
Ahmadis, stop using this Christian tactic. Just because you can't prove Ahmadiyyat wrong does not mean that you can lie about a prophet of Allah passing away on a toilet. You are like the Christians who lie against the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, because they can't disprove Islam. Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, was an apostle and not an apostate. He was a prophet of Allah who revived the true message of Islam as the Messiah, who fulfilled many prophecies and had many miracles, which also proved his truth. Is Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, a kafir for claiming prophethood? In short, no, because he was a true prophet who fulfilled all the requirements to be a prophet and the Messiah of this time. Why do non-Ahmadis keep lying about the death of Hazrat Ahmad? Peace be upon him. The reason is that they are scared of him. They are scared of his truth and the fact that educated people are accepting the truth while only the uneducated disbelieve. They are afraid of Allah's help Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, has. To cope with this, they lie about his death, but they still fail to cope. Many non-Ahmadis say that there is no prophet after Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. However, they believe that Hazrat Isa, peace be upon him, will come after him. This creates a conflict that the non-Ahmadis must answer. Do prophecies always have to come from the Quran? In short, no, because we can see many prophecies that are only hadith. This tells us that Allah can reveal prophecies separate from the Quran, proving that the method of Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, prophecies was legitimate. There are some non-Ahmadis who say that Ahmadis have corrupted the Quran by adding surah or verses. There are two problems with this. First, Ahmadis have added nothing to the Quran, and second, if Ahmadis did add anything that would break the promise Allah made of safeguarding the Quran of corruption. Non-Ahmadis, you say that prophets must have true miracles and prophecies. However, when an Ahmadi tells you about Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, true miracles and prophecies, you reject them by making excuses and lowering the standards of miracles and prophecy. Is the Ahmadiyya bandwagon argument true? In short, no. Because for a bandwagon religion, you need that religion to be in the majority, and people of that religion trying to convince people to join the religion solely based on the fact the religion is a majority. Ahmadis are not in the majority and do not try to convince others to join based on numbers, so the bandwagon allegations are false. When Ahmadis tell non-Ahmadis about the prophecy of the message of Ahmadiyyat spreading across the world, non-Ahmadis will say corrupted forms of Christianity or Judaism are spreading, so Ahmadiyyat is just another corrupt religion spreading. The problem with this argument is that it is not taking any of the context that is needed. This was a prophecy from a claimant of prophethood. If the claimant was false, then every single time the claimant and the prophecy will fail. But since the claimant, Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, was true and helped by Allah, he and the prophecy were true and fulfilled. Both Christianity and Judaism are true religions originally. That is why they don't have the same standards for growing as Ahmadiyyat has. There is a hadith which non-Ahmadis use to say that Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, could not have been a prophet. We also need to take into consideration the context in which this hadith was being stated. We know that there will be a prophet at the end of times. Hazrat Umar, peace be upon him, could not have been that prophet, as that would be out of his era. However, what this hadith seems to be saying is that if there should have been an immediate prophet after Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, it would have been Hazrat Umar, peace be upon him. Non-Ahmadis, do you want to step in the right direction? Then stop lying about the death of Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him. But if you want to step in the wrong direction, knowingly deceive and trick people about the death of Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him. Non-Ahmadis, why do you purposefully take things out of context and then try to present it as an argument? You point it out when Christians do it, but when you do it, you turn a blind eye. When Ahmadis try to tell non-Ahmadis about the prophecy of the Jamaat spreading, non-Ahmadis will shrug it off by saying religions like Christianity are also spreading fast, so Ahmadiyyat is just another false religion spreading. The problem with this argument is that non-Ahmadis need to figure out the difference between how prophecies work and how the natural development of something originally true works. Non-Ahmadis, just because you do not understand the translation of the Quran properly doesn't mean that you can rashly claim that Ahmadis have mistranslated the Quran on purpose. Are the Messiah and Mahdi the same? In short, yes. Firstly, we can see the hadith take the side of Ahmadis. Both Bukhari and Muslim have hadith that show the Messiah and Mahdi will be the same. Then Musnad Ahmad also supports the fact that the Messiah and Mahdi are the same. Another famous book of Hadith Ibn Majah then again shows that the Messiah and Mehdi are the same. It should be also noted that there can only be one Khalifa at a time in Islam. However, both the Messiah and Mehdi are called the Khalifa. This shows they have to be the same person. Hazrat Mirza Bashiruddin Mahmud Ahmad states. Another problem is that many narrations regarding the Mahdi and the Messiah contradict each other if they are taken as two separate people. Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, states. He also states, was Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, a reformer for this age? Yes, the Muslim Ummah had strayed away from the true teachings of Islam and had made a mockery of Islam. So Allah sent a prophet, as other prophets came before, to reform the people, showing Hazrat Ahmad, peace be upon him, was a true reformer of this age.
मसीह अक़दस है प्यारा मेहदी जो बन के अदना